Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion, located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street, in the heart of Kensington Market. Or visit toms-place.com. And by Pete's Pizza, celebrating 40 years serving the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area. Pete's Pizza. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about finding pizza. If you're hungry, visit petespizzaniagara.ca. Celebrating 5 years. This is Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
In the movie Batman, why does Bruce Wayne drive a Lamborghini Murcielago?
Why did Lady Godiva really ride the horse in the nude? Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. And for the last 5 years, if you can believe it, we've scoured the internet to find out these useless tidbits just for you.
Plus, we'll play a highlight from the last 5 years. We'll answer your questions in our mailbag segment. And in the news, all she did was smell a candle, and boy, was she pissed.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
This is Totally Useless Vehicle Information with Nick, Meet, and Roy. Vroom, vroom.
All right, Vroom Vroom, you go first.
Okay. Vroom Vroom goes first. What year is considered the birth of the modern car?
What year? I don't know.
Yes, I found this one intriguing. I know that Carl Benz invented the first car, but I didn't know that the year 1886 was the first patented. It was called the Benz Patent Motor Works, and it is 1886. Carl Benz began manufacturing the car that he patented. So 1886 is the birthday of the birth year of the modern car.
Maybe what we should do is we should produce a birthday message, a Nick and Roy birthday message, which you can go to nickandroy.com and get your very own. You can order one for your loved one. See what I did there? I did a promo as we talked about history.
It was a cheap promo all the same, but thank you.
Well, how much did you pay for this program? Now, when you do go and buy a car, right, you look at the sticker, right? You go, there's a sticker, and you often hear about the sticker price. Never pay the sticker price because it's overinflated and all that stuff. Did you know that there's a name for that sticker?
I certainly do.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you. Because, well, see, I wasn't asking you. I was asking the audience, okay? Just wait your turn for a second. Now, the reason why Roy might know this, because Roy, among the many things, the many talents that he has, other than doing his show, and if you're in the southwest part of Florida, he sings. He also has been part of many industries, including restaurant and the automobile industry. So the name of the sticker is the Monroney sticker. There's a name for it.
Yeah.
The window sticker is a label required by U.S. governments and other jurisdictions, even in Canada, to be displayed on all new automobiles. It includes a listing of certain official information about the car, the options, etc. The window sticker was named after Almer Stillwell Monroney. In 1955, Senator Mike Monroney chaired a subcommittee of the Senate Interstate and Foreign Commerce Committee, you know those guys, that investigated complaints from car dealerships in the U.S. about abusive treatment by manufacturers. So he came up with a sticker where it's up front, right in your face, and everything is listed right there for you. So you go buy a new car and you look at the sticker, it is called a Monroney sticker.
Yeah, it's up front, right in your face, and overpriced.
Right. In that order.
I love this one. James Dean drove a Porsche 550 Spider. Ooh. One of my favorite cars and one I'd love to collect, but try and find a real one.
Yeah.
Sir Alec Guinness, the actor.
Yeah.
Sir Alec Guinness told James Dean upon witnessing him driving up in his Porsche 550 Spider 1 week before he crashed and died in it.
No.
He told James Dean, "You'll be dead in this thing by next week."
He was right.
And he was right.
Oh.
Wow. You talk about a prediction. Okay. I mean, I'm sure he just drove up like an idiot. And Alec Guinness said, "You'll be dead in that thing by next week." But sure
right.
as hell he was.
Let's raise a Guinness.
Yeah.
So for the next few facts here on cars and totally useless information with Nick and Roy, I'm going to give you some one-hit wonders in cars that kind of made it once and then that's it. The first one is called the Hillman Imp. Okay. The fact that you call it an imp is not exactly, the best name you can name a car. Anyway, it was the first car to seriously rival BMC's Mini. It also looked so promising for the Imp because it was all-around independent suspension, rear-mounted aluminum engine that saved space in the cabin, and even an opening glass rear hatch for practicality. It was great to drive, and several other versions were even added to it, including a coupe and a van. But the Imp was still banished as being the single-run model because Hillman and its Roots parent were absorbed into the Chrysler Company.
Oh, boy.
And then quality problems.
Did they call the van the Vimp?
No, it's the Imp van. The Imp van. And because of quality problems, it didn't help the company, but it was also a well-sorted
that's
car.
why Chrysler bought them. They said, "Wow, that's close to us."
Well, it went off sale in 1976, and so that's when Chrysler kind of helped them out. They bailed them out. They bought them out.
This was my teaser.
Okay.
In the movie Batman, Bruce Wayne drives a Lamborghini Murcielago.
Right.
Do you know why?
Was it cheap?
Because remember, he's not driving it as Batman. He's driving it as Bruce Wayne. He's driving a car, right? He's a rich man.
Okay.
But he's driving a Lamborghini Murcielago, not because it's an expensive car, but because Murcielago in Spanish means bat. So Batman.
Wow.
Bruce Wayne was driving a bat car.
I love it.
I love that, right?
Well, thank goodness he wasn't buying a Pontiac or driving a Pontiac Fiero from 1984. So with only 355,000 sales to its name between 84 and 88, the Pontiac Fiero seemed like a success, at least, After all, here was Pontiac's first two-seater since 1926 and the U.S. first production mid-engined car. Now, even, it wasn't quick to handle and it wasn't as pleasant to drive as the European rivals, but the concept seemed deserving for a second chance. But, the Fiero was never replaced. And again, it was problems with reliability, engine fires. That would do it. You know what? Maybe that's why it was called the Fiero.
It was so hot it went on fire.
That's right.
Listen, do you know today the GT model, which was a V6 version, because the four-cylinder model had enormous problems with it.
Right.
But the V6 version is a very hot collector's car.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, first car to have speakers in the headrest, too.
Oh, that's cool.
And surprisingly enough, the next mid-engine car that the United States would build is the new Corvette. Let's talk cars.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we picked one of 18 topics, which is cars. And I knew that you would know a lot about it, again, because you're part of the automobile industry. But also, you're a car enthusiast. You've always been really big on cars, so we figured we'd...
I like cars. I drive a car.
Yes.
No.
That's how much he likes
Remember in the movie? I like money.
Yes.
I use it.
I use it. Absolutely.
BMW. You've been driving, Nick. You've seen BMWs pass you by, and you know it's a BMW because of the insignia. The insignia is kind of like almost like a three-pointed type star type of situation, but do you know what it means?
No.
Okay. The white portion is supposed to be a propeller spinning against the blue portion, which is the sky. So it's a propeller spinning against the sky because BMW was originally a plane aircraft manufacturer.
Oh, aviation. Wow.
Right. So it just bumped the logo over to its cars, but that's the meaning behind it, a white propeller against a blue sky.
And of course, being of German descent, what does BMW stand for?
Bavarian Motor Works, which probably built loads of planes in World War II.
Exactly.
for the Germans.
Well, maybe this next one-hit wonder wasn't built by the Germans because it didn't last too long. Gordon Keeble. The Gordon Keeble was not the first car to marry a US V8 power with a sleek European look, but it was definitely one of the best. Its Corvette engine guaranteed strong performance thanks to its craftsmanship, while the glass fiber body meant it wasn't too hefty, despite offering a luxury cabin and 4 seats. But only 99 Gordon Keebles were made in 1964, and the company was, as they put it here, scuppered by charging too little for the car, which saw it fold for an initial rescue was made. So the good news is that a large portion still survive.
Yeah, because they're fiberglass. There's another manufacturer who would take a fiberglass car, the Alpine Sunbeam from England. He took the bodies, just the fiberglass body, and placed it on his frame with a big 427 Ford engine in it. That would become the Shelby Cobra.
Bingo. Wow.
Because he wanted a light-bodied car with a super fast engine, horsepower.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Visit our website. You're going to be really excited because we're just as excited as you are. You can do many things.
I'm excited right now, Nick. I could express it on Zoom, but I can't.
No, you shouldn't. And, we just finished cars. We don't need to talk about stick shifts. So go to nickandroy.com, and you can go to the Nick and Roy store, and you can order for your loved one a birthday message.
Oh, you should definitely do it. There's a sample on nickandroy.com. So go to nickandroy.com, type on the Nick and Roy store, and you'll see birthday messages. Listen to it. You're going to want to buy it for someone. It is a fantastic gift for the person who has everything, or just for someone that you love. Really, listen to it. You're going to love it. They're going to freak out. Everybody does.
Also, if you like a chance to win an authentic wooden airplane puzzle to commemorate our 5-year anniversary, go to the nickandroy.com. You go down to it to start recording. And if you record us a happy anniversary, Nick and Roy, happy 5th anniversary, and we choose your message, we will contact you and send you one of these wooden airplane puzzles to commemorate 5 years of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Nick and Roy will continue with Totally Useless Information. We're back with Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn. Welcome to the Totally Useless Information Fashion Show.
Well, speaking of fashion, you see how we segue one into another. We're just so seamless. It seems less than it really is, really.
No, really, honestly, we do have to talk about fashion, but Tom's Place is the place to go for fashion when you're in Toronto.
Because of Tom, I found this information. So we talked about, actually, I think Tom even was on our show and talked about how you never button the last button in a suit.
Yes.
Okay, there's reasons for that. So go back to the episode and find out which one it is, and you'll know what
in
that
case
is.
You have to use the men's room.
That's correct. In the meantime, well, English tailors call those buttons that are never intended to be fastened, okay, they have a name. They're called idle buttons, which makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
They're idle.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there doing nothing.
It does nothing. Why do they make the eyelet for it if it's supposed to not do anything? Why do they tease us with the eyelet and almost want us to try to close it? We know we're not supposed to, but we close it anyway sometimes. It's like do not walk on the grass.
But you walk on the grass anyway. Well, according to Tom, most of the time, men buy their suits like a little bit too snug, a little too small, and because they're wishful thinking that they're really not a 38 anymore. They really like more, 42, 44. So he's thinking, you know what? This is what happens. They buy clothes that are smaller than they should be, and so that's why they really can't close that bottom button. But those buttons,
you know what I love? Mm-hmm. I love, and I know we're going off a little bit, but I love when people buy the suits that have the double flaps in the back.
Yeah,
and it's closed in the front, but the flap's wide open in the back.
That's right.
Because it's too small.
That's right. Exactly. And you've had an active bottom. That's what I call it.
By the way, Nick,
Yes.
I wanted to tell you about that.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. That's right. After being friends for 40 plus years, you get to reveal all kinds of information.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
The first high-profile fashion designer was Charles Frederick Worth. Now, that's a name that you wouldn't even put to like fashion.
Right.
He opened his own fashion house in 1858. I mean, this guy is attributed with he's the first high-profile fashion designer. He's got the first fashion house in 1858.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, I believe he's the father of the live runway. Before that, people used dummies to display their clothes and let people walk around them. He said, let me put my clothes on real people and have them walk up and down a runway so that people could look at it as it was moving on them.
Wow. I like that a lot.
Yes. Charles Frederick Worth. And being that he has three names, he's important.
Well, that's right, because as we discovered on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, anytime we had a scientist or a fashion designer, if you had three names, you were super important. And they used their three names, middle name and otherwise. They used them because they wanted people to know they're really, really important. Roy and I would just have first and last names. So I'm going to ask you a personal question. Can I ask you a personal question?
Please, Nick,
Okay.
ask me a personal question.
Are you wearing a belt right now?
No, and that's the reason why my pants are on my ankles.
Yeah, that's the only reason, really. Just like we've stated on the show.
That and I'm doing an impersonation of Jeffrey Toobin.
Listen,
CNN.
Right. So we've talked about this many times on the show. Actually, early on when I said that, I think you said to me, I have the street lingo or something, and I told you, yeah, I wear my jeans halfway down my hips because I'm that hip. And then I said, I love that rapping cellist, Yo-Yo Mama. Okay. So if you're wearing a belt, so the modern fashion for belt dates back to the summer of 1893. And you're thinking, wait a minute, so they never had belts, before that because most of the men wore suspenders to keep their pants up. But it was getting too hot for suspenders because they were usually made of cloth. And so what they did was, okay, let's come up with a belt to hold up your pants. So since 1893, you've been wearing belts and suspenders, but it's because it was too hot for suspenders.
Wow. So they, of course, the environment dictated the fashion.
There you go. There you have
Yeah.
it.
The earliest known fashion trends, right?
Mm-hmm.
People wearing the same clothing design.
Yeah.
Date back to ancient Egypt.
Oh, that far back.
Well, it was the first real wealthy society, other than the Greeks, where linen was decorated with beadwork, embroidery, and dyes.
Oh.
So they used all three to create beautiful clothing, which was mimicked. Many of the designs were duplicated. Thus, a trend. People would walk around with the same designs. Wow. So it was the first society to have a trend in clothing.
Well, here's a trend right now. So, do you have, and even in the audience, the members of the audience as well as you, Roy, are you wearing a wristwatch? Do you wear a watch?
I have one. I'm showing it right now.
There you go. Yeah, they can't see that.
It's a rather spiffy one too.
Okay, I have a smart watch because I'm smart, really.
Actually, Nick has a smartwatch because he's dumb and he needs something smart to make up the difference.
I don't know what that means, but anyway, I'll move on. So, most people don't use wristwatches today because they have, maybe they have a device, a cell phone or whatever, a smartphone or maybe a smartwatch. But years and years and years ago, people wore wristwatches without having any of these other devices. But wristwatches were originally worn by ladies only because men carried pocket watches.
Yeah.
So until early in
With the little chain on them.
That's right. And in fact, in some of the vests, if you notice, they have like a little slit, a little pocket, and that is for your pocket watch. And in the early 20th century, the pocket watch remained predominant for men, with the wristwatch for women, because the men thought wearing a wristwatch was considered feminine and unmanly.
I got one fashion here.
Okay.
The highest paid model in history.
Oh, okay.
And again, it's someone you're not going to think, but it's Kendall Jenner from the Kardashian group.
Really?
Yes, her 2020 contract was for $40 million, 40 million dineros for a picture of that big you-know-what. No, listen, honestly, I think Kendall is probably the best looking of all the Jenners or Kardashians, whatever you want to say, but I think she's the most pretty. But you have to give it to, what's her name, Kardashian, Kim.
Right. Yeah.
You got to give it to her, baby got back.
Yeah. We're not, look, the Kardashians are successful for what? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out.
They're famous for being famous.
Okay, sure.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, we're famous for
kind of like us.
That's right.
Don't talk bad about them, Nick.
No, we're famous for totally useless information. We put the useless in useless information. So
at least we do something.
That's right. No, I know you.
Although if you ever looked at the back of Nick's suit, you'd see his gadunk too.
Because the flaps are there. Okay, so I know you've driven a Blazer, but we're not doing cars. We're doing fashion. The fashion for Blazers was started by the captain of HMS Blazer to smarten up his scruffy crew.
Really?
When Queen Victoria was about to inspect the ship. She was so impressed that she ordered all of her sailors to be dressed in a similar uniform because of the captain of the HMS Blazer.
That is great.
Yeah.
See, that's one you got to write down.
Exactly.
That and Kim Kardashian's padunkadunk. You can draw that one.
Hey, Nick and Roy, film critic Richard Krause here. Congratulations on 5 years of useless information. 5 years, that's 2.7 million minutes, or about 10,000 times as long as Gone with the Wind, which clocks in at about 3 hours and 58 minutes, or 0.000431 years. 5 years, that's 75 million times as long as the first movie, 1888's Roundhay Garden Scene, which was only 2 seconds long, or 0.0000006690 years. Here's to another 2.7 million minutes.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy and a brand new sponsor, Pete's Pizza. The only way to make perfect pizza, and they know this, is by using the freshest ingredients. Every day they roll out their own dough to create their signature pizzas topped with only the freshest ingredients.
Since 1984, the 6 Niagara locations, that's right, 6 locations, have been known as the small pizzeria that's big on taste and easy on your budget, which is even better. With locations across St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, you're just minutes away from some of the best pizza and wings in town.
Always open late. Find a Pete's Pizza near you.
So go to their website, petespizzaniagara.ca. Pete's Pizza Niagara.ca.
For 40 years, Pete's Pizza is family-owned and operated. Pete's Pizza began as one location of Pleasant Avenue in St. Catharines. Over 40 years later, the original shop at 6 Pleasant Avenue is still open, as well as 5 additional locations in St. Catharines and the Niagara Falls area to serve you. If you're hungry, visit Pete's Pizza Niagara.ca.
Life is not about finding yourself. It's about finding great pizza.
Pete's Pizza.
We're back with totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
The first jeans, we discussed this before, were designed by Levi Strauss. By the way, I have to fix something that we have said on the show. We said the first jeans were designed by Levi Strauss, but they were designed by Levi Strauss and a guy named Jacob Davis.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I think that we just said Levi Strauss. Nobody knows who Jacob Davis is. Levi probably killed him. No,
Right.
but anyway, the first jeans. But in Europe, they didn't call them jeans. They call them what we do now. They called them denim.
Oh, okay.
And the reason they called them denim was for the name Serge de Demise,
Wow.
which means who knows in French.
Right.
But anyway, it ends up getting shortened to denim.
That's amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they even have one of those little pockets, that you could probably put a pocket watch in.
Yes.
Maybe Levi Strauss killed him. Well, after that he was singing. You know what he was singing? He was singing the 501 Blues. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
What happened today is history. What happens tomorrow is history. Yeah.
Yeah. There was another one of like Roy's like jingles, and I said, let's do history. He says, okay, I'm going to sing it like this, and it's like, wow, there you go.
Something catchy about it.
It is. So George Washington is the father of the United States of America. Do you not agree?
Yes.
Yes. Yet he did not father any children.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it.
George Washington had no biological children of his own, and it took many years for Washington to come to grips with the fact that he was not going to father his own children. Despite this difficulty, though, the Washington's home at Mount Vernon, New York, was filled with children for nearly 40 years of their marriage.
So they had adopted children.
Well, I don't know if they adopted them, but they always had children around the house, and they always, had them over and, entertained them.
I think we ought to look into this, Nick.
No.
We need Child Protective Services to look at
No.
Woo. Okay, this is a crazy fact. I think this one's really weird. If you're gonna freak out.
Okay.
In 1913, 4 people were living in Vienna for a couple of months each.
Okay.
But these 4 people in 1913, Hitler, Stalin, Trotsky, and Tito all lived in Vienna in 1913. I can't even understand how those 4 people that would be so enigmatic as technically horrible people in history, but they all lived in 1913 in Vienna. None of them actually lived in Vienna, but they were all there in 1913.
Wow.
I guess there was something in the water.
There was. So I'm going to tell you about President Eisenhower. He was not only president of the United States, the 34th president, he was the president of Columbia University.
Oh, wow.
So following his election as the 34th president, as I said, of the United States, Eisenhower resigned as Columbia University president effective January 1953. So he was President Eisenhower before he became President Eisenhower.
Wow, yeah. So you didn't even have to change the luggage.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Nobody knows what that means anymore. People used to put when they bought luggage, they would put their initials on the luggage so they knew it was theirs.
Yeah, now they just put like a strip of like a ribbon or something to identify
their
luggage.
Put tape, black electrical tape.
Yeah.
These people crazy.
Yeah.
My wife bought like a white suitcase. That really worked out well. We got back from Europe. It looked like it had skid marks all over it. We know it's ours.
Yes. That's true.
On July 30th, 1945, the USS Indianapolis was struck by Japanese torpedoes from a Japanese submarine. The ship went down, and most of the men went into the water, those that didn't die from the explosion. 600 people died.
Oh.
Okay. From exposure, dehydration. But this is where the history fact comes in. On July 30th, 1945, was the largest shark attack in the history of the world.
Oh.
Those men went into the water, and of the 600, most of them died of shark attacks. They were attacked and eaten by sharks. July 30th, 1945, the USS Indianapolis. If you ever see the movie Jaws, he tells the story on the boat, and 600 men went into the water.
Yeah, and he said, "Bite me." So let me give you my teaser. Lady Godiva, we know the story. Lady Godiva rode on her horse in the nude.
She was very transparent.
She was. Apparently.
She needed a tan.
That's right. So the question is, why did she, ride her horse in the nude? Well, it was to protest high taxes.
Yeah.
The story
Took
tells
the clothes off her back.
Right. Just for the cost. So the story tells how Godiva begged her husband, Earl Leofric, to stop a heavy tax on the people of Coventry. Leofric said he would do this if Godiva rode naked through the Coventry. Uncovered, I guess. She covered herself with her long hair and rode through the streets. And according to some accounts, the townspeople stayed indoors and did not look at her. Yeah, right. Right?
Yeah, right. Except for like 80 guys with telescopes. My question is, did she ride a horse or an ass?
No. She married the ass, but rode the horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Well, that would not shock anybody today. I mean, really,
No,
honestly.
Exactly.
Napoleon, speaking of horses, see the segue?
Yes.
Napoleon took 186,000 horses with his army in 1812 when he rode into Russia during the War of 1812.
Okay.
He rides into Russia, and he comes back years later with, guess how many horses?
10.
1,600.
Wow.
1,600.
Wow.
So just think about, he lost 180, whatever, 184,000 horses were slaughtered in that war. I'm assuming the men that were on them also didn't do too well.
No, they didn't. So here's my last one. Which college had the most presidents attended?
Ooh.
Harvard.
Harvard.
Harvard University, the oldest institution of higher education in the United States, has had the highest number of presidential alumni. There are 8 in total. John Adams, John Quincy Adams, Rutherford B. Hayes, John F. Kennedy, and the Roosevelts, Franklin Delano and Theodore Roosevelt, George W. Bush, and Barack Obama all attended Harvard University. So Eisenhower was president of Columbia University, and you have 8 presidents so far who graduated from Harvard.
That's wild, huh?
It is.
Harvard Yard. Dateline. London, England.
Yes.
Hey, you like that? I set it up.
Yeah.
The Metropolitan Police Act of 1839.
Yes.
A law is passed which bans and makes illegal knock and run, which is knock on the door and run away just to mess with people.
Right.
Flying kites in the city. That's crazy.
Okay.
I love this one. Singing obscene songs in the street and the throwing of ice on the street. This is why I don't go to England. They have no fun.
No. Yeah.
This law is still in place.
No, it's not.
People can be fined.
No.
Oh, yes, they can be fined.
Wow.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information.
It's time to gear up for fall with cool fashions, cooler weather, and in the very cool Kensington Market. Hello, this is Roy and Nick for Tom's Place, where the cool guys in Toronto shop.
Check out the latest fall fashions that just arrived. It's Tom's Place. So even the new arrivals are on sale. Fall colors, new patterns, fresh designs, designer suits, including new arrivals. They retail up to $600. They start at $179 at Tom's Place.
Wow, amazing. Check out Tom's fabulous collection of S. Cohen and other designer suits. They're regularly $650 each, slashed for our totally useless information listeners to $375. Listen, get down there, check it out.
$650 for $375. That's great math. While you're there, pick out a couple of sports jackets that you can dress up for the office or down for the weekend, or a wool top coat for 50% off on their first floor. Plus, designer dress or casual pants for only $99.
Yes, so visit Tom's Place in Toronto in the heart of Kensington Market at 190 Baldwin Street. Now, if you want to go online, it's toms-place.com. That's toms-place.com. Definitely go down to Tom's. Great store.
Tom's Place will suit you.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
As we mentioned, you go to our website to order a birthday message, go to the Nick and Roy store, record a message on the front page for a 5th anniversary for us here at Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. And if we select your message, you'll win an airplane, a wooden puzzle airplane to commemorate our 5th anniversary, the pilot episode way back when, 5 years ago. And you can also go to our website, nickandroy.com, to send us an email.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
Another fellow Canadian, Susan from Peterborough, Ontario. Dear Nick and Roy, we love listening to your show every week. We're happy that you have been around for 5 years. Me too. Keep up the great work. Here's my question. I often hear a phrase that I'm sure is not said correctly, and it's driving me up a tree. The expression is, for all intensive purposes. Can you guys please clear this up? It's just driving me crazy. I love your show. Keep up the good work. Okay. The saying for all intensive purposes should be for all intents and purposes. The error likely stems from the misunderstanding of the original expression, which means virtually or essential. Using for all intents and purposes dates back to the 16th century and its legal language for clarity. And in those days, it was used to basically say that the scope and the application of laws or directives for all intents, like intentions, and purposes, not for all intensive purposes. So thank you, Susan, because that also would drive me crazy.
Okay, listen, this one's a good one. I read it, and what caught me was Harvey from Barcelona.
Oh.
Now, I didn't expect the name Harvey to be from Barcelona, but it ends up, as I'm reading in, he's an expat from the U.S. that moved to Barcelona, Spain. And he says, I just tuned in and love your show.
Oh.
And then he writes, was in a restaurant in Barcelona a few weeks back and heard you talking to a waiter about your show.
No, really?
And I tuned in, and he writes, I'm sorry I was eavesdropping, but not, he says, not unhappy because I love your show.
Wow.
So he eavesdropped on a conversation I was having with a waiter in Barcelona. Oh my God.
Could you imagine? So be careful.
I wonder what the hell else I said.
Well, you'll find out when you get the affidavit from the lawyers on your doorstep.
But how crazy is that? He says he's telling everybody he knows, he loves the show, it's great. And so Harvey from Barcelona, you don't have to eavesdrop anymore. We'll just talk directly to you.
That's right. In the news, we talked about cars, we talked about fashion, we talked about history. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
A mother said her daughter was exposed to a potential health hazard while smelling a candle at a local store. Adriana Shelton and her 9-year-old daughter, Gray, were at the Dollar Tree, this dollar store type store, right? Shopping for a gift for the little girl's teacher, when Gray reached for a candle on the shelf. So the mother says, we're smelling candles, and she picked up a candle to smell it and tilted it back, and literally liquid went down all over her. At first, we were like, maybe it's just water, maybe it's wax, but it wasn't lit. And as we were just walking...
That's a hot item.
It is. Well, no, it wasn't a hot item. It was a warm item, because as they were walking through the store, the mother says, we got a foul smell coming from my 9-year-old daughter. Mom.
It was the liquid.
That's right. Mom, my shirt really stinks, she said. The smell? It was urine sitting on the candle on the store shelf.
Wait a minute. So somebody climbed up on the shelf to urinate into the candle?
Basically, they took the candle, relieved themselves, and put it back on the candle at the top so no one would see.
Wow, that would really piss me off.
That's why in my tease at the beginning of the show, I said all she did was smell a candle, and boy, was she pissed. So now,
what kind of psychopath goes into a dollar store, relieves themselves into a candle, and then places it up on the shelf?
I don't know.
First off, a candle doesn't have much space, so these people drink water like a bird.
Right.
Because I drink those 30-ounce big gulps.
Right.
If I was to relieve myself, it would have to be into a gallon jug.
Or really...
So beware of apple juice in the dollar store.
Yeah. Or what appears to be Mountain Dew, then if that's what it looks like, I would see a doctor. Right. So anyway.
It's dew, right?
That's right. So, he did it. So they went to the store manager, right? And then what the store manager did was he offered them a shirt as a replacement, okay? So they've been telling me that the manager's been telling them that it's been happening over a month, and they're not able to catch the person doing it. There's no cameras down the aisle where the person is doing it.
A serial...
Yes, a serial...
a serial pisser.
Serial pisser. So he's asked the corporate... he asked head office to put in cameras. Could you imagine for the request? Dear corporate office, dear vice president or whatever, we're requesting cameras in our aisles because people are pissing in our candles.
Well, Nick, this is important because there's food in those stores, and and do you think when they walked over and the woman said, my daughter's shirt smells, and he smelled it and said, you took the candle from the top shelf? Well, you're in trouble. You're in
trouble. Wow.
Listen, I know that was a stupid joke, but everyone's laughing right now.
I know I'll give them a moment to do so. Okay, that's enough, right? So hold on. So the manager said that. So they contacted the police, and they're trying to find out who is urinating in the candle.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. They need to do better. They need to actually care, even if it's not what they want to do. At least have a warning. Hey, be on the lookout. Could you imagine a bolo? Be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for a person.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Hold on a minute, though. The cops were not undercover cops. They were uncovered cops.
That's right. They were. So anyway, they took the daughter
Did they find the pisser?
Not yet. They're still investigating.
No,
they're still investigating. Well, he's got to wait.
You said that so good. Not yet.
No. So hold on. Here's the thing, though. So no, not yet, because the manager put a request into corporate office for these cameras, and you know how long that stuff can take, right? In the corporate world, it takes forever to get anything approved, let alone to go get the stuff. So anyway, it's going to take a while. In the meantime, they took the young girl so that, in case you wonder about the little girl's health, she's fine. They took her to urgent care. She's just going to be just fine.
They took her to urgent care and said, well, two things. You're fine, and thank God you wore a yellow shirt.
No, it was a white shirt. It became a yellow shirt. That's all the time we have for this episode of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Thank you very much for joining us for the past 5 years. We really, really do appreciate it. We're going to scour the internet, among other sources, and find out more totally useless information just for you.
And as always, go to nickandroy.com and see all the highlights and all kinds of other things. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to you, the listener.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy has been brought to you in part by Tom's Place, the finest in men's fashion. Located in Toronto at 190 Baldwin Street in the heart of Kensington Market, or visit toms-place.com. And by Pete's Pizza, celebrating 40 years serving the St. Catharines and Niagara Falls area. Pete's Pizza. Life is not about finding yourself, it's about finding pizza. If you're hungry, visit petespizzaniagara.ca.